Black Label minifans. Today we're painting the only character I believe to have dialogue in all six, or actually I think it's all nine of the franchise movies, the Professor himself, C-3PO. When I first primed C-3PO, I had planned on painting him with metallic paints, but changed my mind and decided to try out these ScaleColor non-metallic metal gold paint range of paints I had recently bought. So having undercoated the model in black and wanting to get this done quickly, I went ahead and grabbed my airbrush for a quick coat of ScaleColor Gobi Brown. Now, after that, still using the airbrush, I went ahead and added some Sahara Yellow to the brown to continue working toward the base color of a nice muted gold. So now switching over to the standard brush for what I thought was going to be the first level above the base. I'm doing a 20-25-50 mix of Gobi Brown, Sahara Yellow, and I'm really not for sure how to pronounce this. I think it's called Tenere Yellow. So after working on him for a few minutes, I decided that trying to highlight his entire body was just going to take me too damn long. And I went ahead and broke the airbrush back out and decided that this was going to be his new base color, the Gobi, Sahara, and Tenere mixture, and I went ahead and did a quick airbrush of the entire body. I believe normally, when you're doing non-metallic metals, you probably can go ahead and skip around the shade step altogether. But I decided to go ahead and give him a 50-50 mix of red-brown shades by Army Painter. Just remember, as always, to thin your shades down a little and do not let this stuff pull up in any areas, or else it will create some coffee stains or spotting on your paint, which is super hard to cover back up. So after letting him dry for some time, I came back with the previous color mixture and added some work to the areas that I felt needed it. This is basically, I guess you could call it your first highlight level. So work areas that are on the edges or outward facing the head, shoulders, upper chest, and vast majority of the panel edges. So using a 50-50 mix of Sahara and Tenere Yellow, go ahead and go back over a majority of all the areas that you just did, especially the head and the chest areas. One thing you might notice when using the ScaleColor paints is how matte they dry. When using, Vallejo or GW paints, it is sort of, I guess you could call it like a culture shock between the two of them. And you may be super tempted to paint the same areas over and over again, thinking that you're going to get this semi-gloss look or satin that you're used to, but it's just not going to happen. So just, I guess what I'm trying to say is just cover it like you normally would, but don't worry about the overall look out, the mateness of it. It'll look better later once we're all finished and we have an overall matte cover on him. Now here I'm using the straight Tenere Yellow and focusing just on the areas that I think need the higher level highlights. The forehead, the lower edge of the chest, the fingers, upper thighs, especially those hip joint areas. So very sparingly here, using, an 80-20 Tenere and white sands. Go around and give any areas that need extreme highlighting some highlights. I think personally I put too much white sands in. I was probably around a 50-50 split. And so afterwards I was forced to come back and give a light glaze of Tenere with a little Sahara Yellow mixed in to dull down some of those areas afterwards because they were just way too bright. So, you want to, for every two or three brushes of the Tenere, you maybe want one brush tip worth of the white sands because it is really bright. So on the abdomen section here, I'm using some thin down black paint so it flows easier. Then afterwards, I'm going to pick up the wires with red and blue and highlight as desired. We won't see all of that because my camera shut off on me while I was doing this section and did not realize it. So after attaching our base and sealing with a matte varnish, we're ready for the tabletop. Painting C-3PO, was a pretty quick adventure in the non-metallic paints. It's something that I've really not ventured into before. And also the ScaleColor line themselves. I've used them from time to time here and there, maybe one pot or two, but I've never really focused on them on an entire miniature. I was rather surprised by the overall matte finish you get straight from the bottle. As I said before, when you're using Vallejo or Citadel paints, you're used to more of a satin to a gloss finish from their paints. So, if you've not tried them out, I would give them a whirl. They're really fun to paint with. They're super smooth coming straight out of the bottle. Just keep that in mind, though. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to smash that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the content I create. And if you wish to help my channel grow and continue to make videos like this, please consider contributing via Patreon or PayPal, links below. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time.